guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing our June wrap up. It feels like it's been forever since I read these books, like forever. I must have finished them in the first few days of June because it feels like it's been a couple months since I read these. So thankfully I take notes and I know exactly what I read, so I can be pretty accurate when talking to you. Let's do the DNFs first. One of the DNFs I had was Tender as the Flesh. This one I read for an unhinged vlog that I did. Should come out tomorrow as far as like filming this video, but it'll come out before this video goes up. So you'll have to go back and look if you want to see just how unhinged everything was. But so that was part of that video, and I just didn't care. It wasn't the unhingedness that got me, it was the fact that I just didn't connect to the story. Tender as the Flesh is a really popular book. If you haven't heard, it's one where the world as we know it has kind of changed. We're not allowed to eat animals anymore, and so now we're eating people instead. And that's the story. And so it's definitely unhinged, but I just didn't connect with it, so I just didn't care. But everyone else seems to love it, so definitely the oddball out. And then the next one is Still Beating. This one is a dark romance where we're following dual perspectives for this girl Cora and this guy Dean, and they essentially get abducted and forced to do crazy things to each other. And Cora's a victim from the guy that had abducted them, and so that bonds Cora and Dean. The problem is, well, I mean, they already have lots of problems, but the big problem for their relationship and everything is that, one, they don't like each other, so that already sucks. But on top of that, Dean is engaged to her sister. So it makes everything so much more complicated. And this one, I really wanted to focus more on the trauma and the family dynamics that change. Because I mean, like, how do you go through this trauma with your sister-in-law or upcoming sister-in-law and it not change things? Like, it's going to change things, and I really wanted to dig into that. Like, I would have loved to have the sister's perspective. I think her name was Mandy. Would have loved to have Mandy's perspective on her fiance being abducted and gone for almost a month, and the coming back of that and how that affects her and her family, and her trying to kind of go back to where they were, but knowing they're not going back to where they were and everything's changed. Man, I really would have loved to have delved into that, but the book wanted to go more towards Dean and Cora's love story and what that looked like and what that could be, and it just wasn't for me. And then the last one I DNF'd was The Ritual. This one was also part of the Unhinged vlog that I did. This one we're following Riot and Blakely, and Riot is a guy who is going to apply to be a lord. And what that means is they don't really know, they don't really tell you a lot about what that means. But basically, you have a lot of power. It's like a secret society. They have a lot of power. And essentially, they can pretty much do whatever they want. And part of what they can do that falls into that category is they are given a chosen, which is a female, and they can do whatever they want with her. Whatever you want with her. You can beat them, you can sleep with them, you can pass them off to somebody else, you can do whatever you want with them. And they're not allowed to say anything about it. You can dictate what they eat, dictate what they wear, where they go, everything. And that's just how it is. And so Riot is in the last stages of being a lord, and he's gotten his chosen, which is Blakely. And at the start of this, she was dating somebody else. And so she decides that because I'm mad at you, I'm going to go be Riot's chosen one. And so I got maybe a little under halfway through this, and I wanted to explore more of like what the lords do and like all those missions and things. But like Riot would go on a mission and we'd get like a small piece of it, and then we'd come back and it would be mostly about him and Blakely and the sex of it all. And that wasn't the interesting part, you know? I mean, yes, they're exploring all kinds of kinks and weird stuff, but like, that's not the part that I wanted to read. I wanted to read about like the secret society and them being chosen and how that works. And Blakely got on my nerves, okay? Because she was annoyed because everyone was making choices for her, but then she signs up to be a chosen for someone else to make choices for her. I don't get it. And so I just didn't really care about her. I didn't like Riot at all. He was, oh, He's he's something. And like I can't follow them just because they're hot or just because they're toxic. Like I need something that draws me in, and it just didn't draw me in. And I don't really want to read something just for the sex because that's boring. So one of the first ones that I did finish was Bunny. This one was also done for an unhinged vlog, and I liked this one. This one was not one that I had initially intended on reading ever, but I was doing research for this vlog and I needed books for this vlog, so I picked this one because it would seem like the lesser of the evils, right? Pun not intended. But so we're following Samantha, and she is doing this like writing workshop at a college, and in her cohort there's four other girls, and they're all called Bunny, and they're like a clique, and so like they're friends, and then Samantha's like the outcast, and you slowly watch Samantha be like integrated into the bunnies world and who they are and everything that they do and stand for and their mission in life, and you really watch her get sucked into this lifestyle in this world to the detriment of all of her other relationships. And I really enjoyed this, and I really enjoyed how the narrator, well, the writer, um, wrote this story because of the fact that you really get to see the changes in perspective with Samantha, and like the writing style changes based on how Samantha perceives herself and the bunnies and life and all of those things. And so you really see that in how the story is told. And I loved that. I thought that was really cool. Everything was a bit wild. I don't feel like there's a whole lot of like plot happening. It's very character stuff, but I really liked this. I thought it was definitely unhinged in its own way, and I think that it definitely causes that eerie feeling as you're reading this, and that was part of why I kept reading. I also finished Famous Last Words. Famous Last Words is a thriller where we are following Camilla and we are following Neil. Camilla is a woman whose husband held up these people at gunpoint and now he's on the run. Neil is the guy who is attempting to find her husband and trying to solve the case. And Camilla is trying to live her life past being the wife of someone who committed this crime, and she still hasn't like let go and like moved on completely from him, and she has a hard time reconciling the man she knew with whatever happened. I wanted to get more from this story. The only reason I continued was the fact that I wanted to know why he did what he did, because we start the story with him holding these people at gunpoint. Like that's where we start. But we never get his perspective in those moments of why he's doing this or what he's thinking or feeling. All we get is Camilla and the police officer. That's all we get early on, and I don't know that that's enough to like fully carry the story. You know, I was kind of bored throughout most of it. Even when we started getting pieces that the husband was still involved in Camilla's life, or he was still thinking about her, or she was getting more pieces to the story, I didn't really care as much about like those things. And I definitely didn't care if her and the husband ever go back together because I didn't have any attachment to their relationship. The book probably would have benefited from having some flashbacks to their life before. I think all we get from their life before is Camilla's like memories of him versus like us actually like living those out with her. And it kept me very disconnected from the relationship, and I just didn't care about their relationship. So it was definitely a fine. This next one was fantastic, and that is Onyx Storm. This is book 3 to Fourth Wing, and everyone loves Fourth Wing so much more than the other books, but I loved this. I thought this was great. I think the narrative was really funny. I love the humor in these books. I love the character development. I think that the characters went in the direction that they should. Like that's true to who they are. I love the ending. I love the twists that come with this. I love the questions. Like I'm still thinking about these questions. And I finished this like over a month ago, and I'm still thinking about the questions that this book raised. And like I personally don't know which of the three I like more. That's how much I loved the second and third installment in this series. They're just so good. And I really like the characters, and I really like everything that we're doing in this one. If you don't know anything about Fourth Wing, we're following Violet, who is essentially thrown into this academy to be a dragon rider. and her body's not built for that. And so she has to have a lot of accommodations, and it's very dangerous because in this world, they don't care if you live or die. They just don't. If you're a weak link, they're likely to kill you anyways so that they don't have to deal with you. And you bond these dragons, and then you have this life outside of the academy where we're fighting this enemy outside the walls, right? Got a lot of magic systems. We have um, a lot of military strategy, which is so much fun. I love that. And I love Violet in this story. It is a romantasy, so I love the romance in this. Are they the healthiest? Probably not, but it's still interesting anyways. And so I really, really love it. And if you haven't read it, I'd suggest giving it a try. This is one of the popular books that I actually do love. I don't like a lot of the popular books, but this is one that the masses are correct. The next one I read is a reread. This is Wedding Crasher by Mia Sosa. In this one, we are following Solange. Solange is helping her cousin run this wedding, and Solange overhears the bride telling this random dude that she loves him and is like confessing her love to him, right? Well, he doesn't return it, and so then the bride is going to go through with her wedding to the groom, right? So Solange sees this and is like, that's not okay. And so she objects at the wedding and essentially destroys the wedding, and they don't get married. And so Dean, he recruits Solange to be his fake girlfriend in order to impress his lawyer friends and help bring this girl who is interviewing for a position at Dean's company, help her decide that she wants to join their company because that's how Dean's going to move up the ladder. That was a lot of words. Hopefully you kept up. But so we're following Solange and Dean as they are attempting this fake dating romance. And I love a fake dating romance. Fake dating romances are my absolute favorite. All I want to do is read fake dating. If it's got fake dating in it, I'm probably going to give it a shot. There's very few fake dating books that I didn't like. For the most part, I really, really love them. But this one, I love the characters in this one. Solange and Dean work so well together with their personalities, and Mia Sosa writes stories where the characters feel very real and the humor is fantastic. Love the humor in this. I laughed the whole way throughout. Definitely a good romance if you like romances at all. And then another one that I finished was Dragon Curse. This one was honestly a bit of a disappointment. I was super excited for this one because of the fact that I thought this is how I thought the book was going to go, right? I thought we were following this town where you get like infected with this disease and then you end up becoming a dragon. And then when you're a dragon, you don't care who you kill. So you tend to eat and kill people that you love. That's what I thought I was getting, right? It's not exactly what I got. Okay, so the story is that we were following this girl, Isola, and she is just turned 18, so she's going to this tribunal where they are going to spend 3 weeks trying to figure out if you're dragon cursed. Because if you're dragon cursed, you do turn into a dragon, and then you will eat your family, right? But I thought we were going to get things like that happening. I thought that those events were going to happen. It's not what we got. We spent the whole book with Isola being put through these trials in order to test her to see that if she's going to become dragon cursed. That's our whole book. There is a small, slow burn relationship with this guy Luca, but it's so slow burn that it doesn't really add a whole lot to the story. What really adds to the story is her relationship with Luca and how that changes because it was very much enemies to lovers because, or well, more enemies to friends because they kind of grew up together and she hated him, thought that he was a jerk, all kinds of stuff. And now they're kind of thrown into this tribunal together and they're forced to work together. I mean, not like forced, but like they're forced to work together. And she starts seeing him in a different light and starts having a different opinion of him. And they start having this friendship. That was fun. I liked that piece of this, but I didn't like the trials at all. They were kind of boring. We were told going in that the trials were going to be like super brutal and you just got to be really careful and yada yada. But like, not much happened. You went hungry for a few days and you had to find some keys and you were exposed to some potential poison. That was your tribunal. That's, I mean, maybe I'm desensitized, but that just doesn't seem like as much as they had like hyped it up to be like really, really brutal, you know? It just didn't do it for me. And I think this is more YA. Like it reads YA, even though they're like 18. It still doesn't even read like new adult. It really feels YA. And so I was really disappointed. And then the last one I finished was a great way to finish the month because this was Forever Interrupted. And I love this kind of thing. In this one, we're following Elsie, and from the jump, we are seeing her relationship with this guy, Ben, and then he dies. Like, that's the whole story. Like, he dies a couple pages into this story. And we watch her as she grieves this loss because they've only been married like a week. Like, she just got married to him, and now he's gone. And we learn that his mom and his family and his friends, like who was in his life, didn't know about her. What? So, how do you, as a brand new bride, you lose your husband, his whole family rejects you because they didn't know you existed. And so they think that you're lying and they just like don't know what to do with you. And they don't feel like you have any right to his body and the funeral arrangements. They don't feel like you have any right to anything. That would be so painful. And I really love how Taylor Jenkins Reid wrote this story, and you really got to see Elsie's pain throughout this. And I also really like that we got to see a little bit of that grief in different perspectives. Not like perspectives, but like from different angles, because you also had Ben's mom who lost a son. And then we have someone else in the story who loses a loved one. And you get to see grief from different angles. And I love stories about grief, love them. I don't know why. I like feeling things, and grief really, really does it for me. I love a story where we're grieving something. It's just, it's my favorite. I love it so much. And so this story was everything that I wanted it to be. We also got, from the beginning, we got chapters interwoven from their love story and how they met and how they fell in love and what that looked like. And Taylor Jenkins Reid was very intentional with the story because you'll see something that happens in either the previous timeline or in the current timeline and how they connect back and forth. And it's just Taylor Jenkins Reid did absolutely fantastic with this. And I super, super recommend this book. And then I'm still reading Wind and Truth, Veiled Throne, Of Darkness and Light, and First Binding. And then my book of the month. Listen, I went back and forth between Forever Interrupted and Onyx Storm, but Onyx Storm just had to take it. I adore Onyx Storm. Onyx Storm was fantastic. I can't rave about it enough. If you haven't already, check out the reading vlog that I did for Onyx Storm. Otherwise, that is the end of this video. And let me know what books you've read that really delve into grief and just like really make you like feel things. I love to feel things in books. Let me know in the comments what you're reading, and I will see you in the next one.